What's up, everyone? Mr. NoobTube Gamer. Today we're playing Red Dead Online in 2024, 6 years later. How is it doing these days? Well, as you guys know, it's been a very long time since they've added any actual content to the game. They ended support for the game around 2020, 2021, even though they were still giving updates and content for Grand Theft Auto Online, despite that coming out 5 years before Red Dead Online. They're like, nope, we're not supporting Red Dead Online anymore. We're not doing anything with the game. We're done. And that has pretty much killed the game. Well, not really killed it, because there are still a lot of people that play it on all platforms, whether you're on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. Unfortunately, they never added crossplay in. That would have been a great feature to have, but it's also not in Grand Theft Auto Online, to be fair, so not a big deal, I suppose. There's definitely fun to be had, especially if you haven't played it before, but if you've put hundreds of hours already into Red Dead Online and you've grinded for everything and if you've done everything there that you can possibly do in the game, then there's no real reason to go back, because like I said, they haven't added anything in many, many years, so there's no point. But if you're brand new and you want to experience it for the first time, I think you'll definitely get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Though it is very predatory with its microtransactions and the gold bars, and there's so many weapons and horses and all the stuff that they've added in that you're gonna have to dedicate a lot of time in order to unlock all that shit. And I personally don't have the time or patience for that. I'm definitely not gonna spend money on microtransactions either. I'd much rather play Red Dead Redemption 1 online, because there are no microtransactions in that game, and it actually feels rewarding unlocking the weapons and horses in that game, unlike Red Dead Online. I also think Red Dead 1 has a better map, which is controversial to say because people loved Red Dead 2's map, especially Saint Denis, Valentine, all those awesome towns. It's a great map, but I just prefer Red Dead 1 a lot better, especially with Mexico. That was not part of Red Dead 2's map. And even the towns that were taken from Red Dead 1, like Blackwater and Thieves Landing, are just a lot better and more interesting in the first game. So I always prefer the first one over the second one. Story-wise, it's about the same. And of course, the main reason why you're even going to play this is for the single player and not necessarily the multiplayer. But the multiplayer in the first game is a lot more fun and more engaging, and there's actually... And you also have Undead Nightmare multiplayer in 2024 that people still play, so the choice seems obvious as to which one is better, though I understand some people like the better graphics and they like the gameplay of Red Dead 2 over the first one, so that's fine. It all comes down to personal preference, and obviously there are a lot more people that play the second game online. I don't know, I never really got into it. As much as I loved the single player for the second game, I never really loved the multiplayer all that much. It just lacked something. It lacked personality to it. And I really didn't like how, I understand they didn't want people to grief, but I hated that they had it where you couldn't see every player in the map and it was really hard to track them down. And, it's stupid because they didn't mind it in Grand Theft Auto Online. They kept adding all this shit in. Even after Red Dead Online came out, they added all this OP shit, all these rockets and all this fucking bullshit. You're getting blown up every second when you're when you're playing Grand Theft Auto Online. But for some reason in Red Dead Online, you can't have people chase each other with horses and rifles. I don't know. I find that dumb as fuck. And the game kind of has its own story that's separate from Red Dead Redemption 2, but of course, in typical Rockstar Online fashion, your protagonist doesn't say anything, and therefore there's only really so much story they can tell that's actually compelling and interesting, unlike Arthur Morgan, who's like an actual character, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of filler content that it's not really that memorable. It's kind of like the story in Grand Theft Auto Online. No one's playing for the story, definitely not. And of course, there's other stuff like Team Deathmatch and other game modes like that are PvP, like specifically, and also horse races. So there's a lot of content in the game. I'm not saying it's not worth playing. It certainly is, especially if you're brand new. And of course, if you have people that want to play the game with you. That's obviously a huge thing there. Because if you don't have anyone, then you're probably not going to have as much fun. But I also feel that kind of goes without saying, because that's with any game that has co-op and PvP. But I would say just because there really aren't too many open-world, online, Western games out there, that alone, it's worth playing because it's unique. And also, if you love Red Dead Redemption, but you're tired of the story, like you already beat the story multiple times, but you want something new, then Red Dead Online is also a great option for you. It's definitely not bad. No one even says it's bad. It's just that could have had a lot more content than it did, and could have been a lot better than it was. Like, imagine if they added in Mexico. Imagine if they added in land grab. Imagine if we got zombies. That would have been awesome. But because we didn't get those things, Red Dead 1 Online is still better. But if you're on PlayStation, you can't, on the PS4 and PS5 version, you can't play online. The online multiplayer was not included in the re-release. Same thing with Nintendo Switch. So the only way for you to play online is either dust up the old PS3 or get an Xbox with backwards compatibility, you know, so you can play the 360 version. Yeah, so for that reason alone, this game is probably worth playing better than the first game for most people because it's just a lot more convenient to access, and it is a lot of fun, and you will get a lot of enjoyment out of it, so I'd still recommend it in 2024. Why not? There aren't any game-breaking problems, like I haven't run into any cheaters or anything like that, so yeah, I guess it's still pretty good. But let me know in the comments section, what are your experiences with Red Dead Online? How long did you play it for? Do you still play it in 2024? And how do you think it compares to the multiplayer for Red Dead Redemption 1? But as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.